Welcome, everybody, to our Thursday, April 3rd Public Works meeting. This meeting is now in session. We'll take roll real quick. James Felton is not here. Steve Rulin. Steve Hunt is here. Jamie Schreiback is not here. And Jusik Choi.
Here.
Very good. So if you'll all stand up with me and we will pay salute to our flag, which is hiding back there. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Any special presentations? And any item 5, any special announcements or communications from the floor?
Thank you. Next year, the city will build the enormous inclusive playground at the future Youth Park. They will need at least 1,000 volunteers for this. It's an enormous project, and they already started up there. I should have known. Okay. Good evening. Next year, the city will build a inclusive playground at the future Dunes Park at 2nd Avenue and 8th Street. This is an enormous project. They will need at least 1,000 volunteers, people to build, but also people to prepare meals for the volunteers, etc. They already started meetings for this. And on Monday, April 14th at 6:30 p.m. in the community center, there will be a meeting with drawings from children, what they would like to see in the playground. So April 14, Monday at 6:30 in the community center, meeting about the inclusive playground. Thank you.
Question for you, if you don't mind. Now, I know that came before the Public Works Commission several years ago, I believe. Is that the one that has the auditorium, the outdoor amphitheater? This is a different one?
But it's in that same park.
It is the same park.
Same park, yes.
Okay, so is the construction of all of that about to take place?
Not all, only the phase 1, which does not include the theater yet, the amphitheater. But yes.
And where would one go to see what the final plan is and what each phase will look like?
I think the website, cityofmarina.org, and just in the search bar type Dunes Park, it probably will pick, you will probably find it. And otherwise just parks. There's a lot of parks coming on this year. So you will find it, how do you say, a link for all the park projects.
Is that under the city website as well?
Yes,
Okay.
cityofmarina.org, yes.
Thanks. All right.
A lot is happening this year.
Great.
So thank you.
Perfect. Very good. Okay, consent agenda. I hope you all had a chance to look at the minutes from our last meeting. And I can't believe that was already a month ago. Wow. It was. I mean, time flies. So if we could get a motion.
Motion to approve. Okay, second to the motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And nobody to dissent, so we are in approval 3-0. Okay, and so we have 3 items on the action item list: the discussion of the new direction for the traffic advisory committee meetings, the first review of street closure notification protocol, and the commission input on citywide beautification projects. And our industrial leader will take it from here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. So the first item is a discussion on new direction for the Traffic Advisory Committee meetings. This is just an informational item, just to let the Public Works Commission know. The Traffic Advisory Committee serves as a subcommittee to this body. And when I first started, there was some talk of that needing to be a Brown Act meeting. before that, and for years, it wasn't used that way. It is composed of Public Works Director, Community Development Director, Police Chief, Fire Chief, or one of their designees, City Engineer. And the purpose of that committee is to review any traffic safety concerns that are submitted by the public. It's probably overkill to have a Brown Act meeting, but that's the way that it's written up in our city ordinance. So our city attorney's office reviewed it and said that's the way it's written up. So that's the way it's got to be, unless at some point council wants to change that. So what we do is we receive throughout the month various concerns from residents about traffic safety. It's anything from there's a bush blocking visibility at this intersection when I'm at a stop sign, I can't see to the right or to the left, to speeding complaints, or the need for more pedestrian crossing signs, just anything that somebody considers a traffic safety issue. We receive those complaints, those concerns, and we review them. We review them immediately, but at this meeting, we, as a group, talk about the best way to find a solution, and sometimes that solution is simple. Last month's meeting, the March meeting, we were able to cancel because we were able to, via email, respond to the 3 people that had submitted concerns, and were able to solve the concerns that way. And like I said, going back to the examples I gave earlier, sometimes it's as easy as going out and trimming the bush, or having the resident trim the vegetation, or install the requested signs without having to have a meeting over it. So anyway, just want to let the commission know that that is the first Tuesday of every month at 2 p.m. If you're interested, you can attend via Zoom. If you want to be a spectator, we meet, city staff meets in person, just down the hill here at the Public Works office and the City Hall Annex office. And that's pretty much it. Just wanted to let the Public Works Commission know what's going on there. When we do provide a written response, whatever that written response is from the engineer, technical memorandum, or whatever we do, we will probably, Michelle, remind me, we will make sure to include it in your agenda as a consent item, just so it's been given to you and you know what that committee is doing. Just to keep you apprised of committee efforts that are a subcommittee to this body here.
How are those items or concerns or whatever being communicated? Is it a little bit of email and phone calls? I know we
No.
were talking about having like our own, My Marina or something like that. Where are we with all of that?
So the My Marina, we haven't decided that's what we're going to call the app. That's my idea for the name, but that app will hopefully roll out to the public in July, August, hopefully at the latest. The way these concerns come in right now, we have I forget what the form is called, but we have a form that residents can fill out. It's on our city website. They can go there and type it out, or they can print it and fill it out by hand. Sometimes they submit via email. Sometimes they call in. I think when they call in, Michelle refers them to the form. So what we want is a written record of their reports. And it's a simple form. They can write as much or as little as they choose. Any other questions on that item? All right. Okay, so item B, in your agenda packet, there is a draft street closure notification protocol. The objective of this protocol is to establish a comprehensive and effective communication strategy for notifying the public and essential services of street closures in the city of Marina. This protocol ensures timely and accurate dissemination of information, prioritizing public safety and minimizing disruption to the community. When I got here, one of the biggest things that I heard was that there was a lot of residents complaining that they weren't notified that their street was going to be closed. Recently, we had somebody say that their car was towed because they're on vacation for 3 weeks, and when they came back, their vehicle had been towed. They had to pay these fees, wanted the city to cover it. And the statement was that they weren't notified. So I've encountered that for 20 years. When I check my mail, I throw away everything that is not that I perceive as junk mail. If it's got color, I throw it away because I just assume that it's junk mail. So if the city ever sends me some notification of a street closure and it's this big full color, I probably will not look at it. And my guess is that's what a lot of residents do. So they are being notified. Anyhow, that's neither here nor there. What we did is, or what I did is I came up with this draft street closure notification protocol, and we want our commission's comments on it, and then we will have our engineers take a look at it and get their feedback and put together a second draft to bring back to you. And if you approve it, that will be the final draft that we'll use. So the types of closures here are planned closures. That's we know that we're going to do construction work. We have advance notice, and then there's emergency closures. These are immediate shutdowns due to unforeseen circumstances like a traffic accident or a utility failure, which would mostly be MCWD doing the work. So notification methods and timing. We have social media posts. For planned closures, we want to post on social media at least 7 days in advance. The posts will include closure dates, affected areas, alternative routes, a simple map showing the location of the closure. For emergency closures, we would do immediate notification through social media channels such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as soon as the closure is determined, and follow-up posts may be made to provide ongoing updates. With emergency closures, we don't have a whole lot of options. Citywide notifications is another method that we came up with. For planned closures, we can publish the notice on the homepage of the city website and dedicated traffic updates sections 5 days prior to the closure. For emergency closures, we can update the website within an hour of an emergency closure decision, providing we are made aware of it, because it is possible that there's a water main break, MCWD shows up and works on it, and our only knowledge of it is somebody calling and saying, hey, I couldn't get to my house because there was this road closure. But we can do the best that we can there. The app alerts, and in my draft here, I called the app the My Marina app. But for planned closures, we could send out push notifications 3 days prior to the closure to users subscribed to traffic updates. And for emergency closures, immediate push notifications as soon as the closure is enacted, including all relevant details. Variable message signs. These are the trailers that you see on the side of the road that have a big changeable message sign in LED lights. So we can install these 72 hours before a closure at key locations to alert drivers. Messages will include closure dates and detour information. Now, I will say that normally when a project is big enough that it requires these changeable message signs or variable message signs, normally the standard is 2 weeks. So normally it's 2 weeks and not 72 hours, but I must have missed that. And we'll, depending on your feedback and our engineer's feedback, we'll make a change to that duration. Emergency closures, we likely will not be able to use variable message signs, but I'm looking to buy some this year, and when we can, we'll use those 30 minutes, within 30 minutes of the closure. Traffic signage, of course, for planned closures, standard traffic control signs will be set out 24 hours before the closure begins. If it's going to be an extended closure, then they'll be out there for even sooner, just like the variable message signs could be 2 weeks before. Emergency closures, it's all we can do is set up necessary traffic control measures and signage immediately at the closure site. One thing that is important is notification to essential services, so police, fire, and ambulance. For planned closures, we will notify via email or direct phone call 5 days in advance. For emergency closures, notify those emergency services immediately via phone and email as soon as the closure is enacted. School district for planned closures, we will inform the school district 5 days in advance. And for emergency closures, we'll notify the school district within 30 minutes of an emergency closure. There's some additional communication here. Press release, we will issue a press release for significant planned or emergency closures 24 hours in advance if possible. Email notifications, utilizing the city's mailing list to inform residents 2 days prior for planned closures. And that should probably be changed to city's mailing list to those that have the app. And on follow-up, post-closure updates, once a closure is lifted, we'll send updates across all the platforms that we have available to inform the public of the restored accessibility and any ongoing considerations or works in your area. The Public Works Director will oversee the implementation. Designated staff will manage communication methods and ensure all notifications are timely and accurate. Regular assessments and updates of the protocol will take place, making adjustments as necessary based on feedback and effectiveness. And that is pretty much it. This protocol is aimed to ensure that not only the general public, but also essential services and school district representatives are informed promptly about roadway changes. And hopefully by fostering effective communication, we can enhance public safety and minimize disruption in the city of Marina. So what I would like from the commission, well, first, I guess you can open it up to the public to see if there's any comments on this. And if whether there is or isn't after that, then you can bring it back and have discussion among yourselves, and any feedback would be appreciated.
Great, thank you. Any comments from the public? No? Okay, you see?
Yeah, it looks so nice and kind of the procedure is like, is very noticeable and in orderly manner, but I don't know, to me, I'm not gonna like digging on my social media daily, period of time to see what's going on. Rather than that, when I drive through this, street or any places, if I see so many irregular signs there and notification, then I will pay attention on it.
Yeah.
So I rather, if you somewhat is possible, I'm gonna put the sign early as possible.
Yeah.
Not that irregularly, like months before. No, it's not gonna affect it. But at least I'm looking at like at least 1 week prior to that, because of social media posted in 7 days before. That means we all already planned it, we already notify and we acknowledge. So why don't you same time put it in any signs, even you say VMS or even just plastic panels on the street is kind of affected too.
Okay. That makes sense. I appreciate that.
I'm gonna dovetail on that. I've got a couple things, but I couldn't agree more. And as you were listing the protocols, I was making my notes. So when it comes to like, information and notifications, there's push and there's pull, right? And the first three items are essentially pull, because you have to go to the app, you have to go to the website, you have to. Now, if the if the app, like when you get a text, maybe hits an alert on your phone, then that could perhaps be considered, push. So when it comes to getting the word out to avoid situations whereby somebody takes off for 2 or 3 weeks and didn't hear about it, we really want to focus on pushing. Email. How do we know we even have I'm sure we don't have everybody's email address, and oftentimes when those go out in those mass broadcasts, they get put into phishing buckets, right?
Right.
So they're kind of spammed out anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know to what degree that's really effective. I think when it comes to planned closures, though, you're looking at one street at a time. One thing that might be a really useful, effective, and relatively inexpensive tool would be to mail people announcing these closures. I'm sure you, as the city has, who is at each address. If they don't, the title companies do.
Yeah.
And so if you're closing Shoemaker or Rheindahl or a certain part, I would think we would be able to get the names of those homeowners or if not, just the current resident, because there's two types of addresses, right? You have the principal residence, and then for those that are second home, you have the tax mailing address. You wouldn't want to send a road closure notification to somebody that owns the home that lives in Texas, but you would definitely want to let the, the renter or whoever's living there. So I think a combination of that, and like you said, those signs are, that's probably the best way, one of the better ways, because there are, when you look at Marina, and I'm not really familiar what all the ins and outs are over on the new side.
Right.
But on the old side, you've got reservation, both sides of reservation, right? Del Monte, both sides of Del Monte, and then maybe California and Rhine Dollar. And that covers what I call the lower 48, everything prior to East Garrison, Dunes, and Sea Haven.
Right.
There's no other way in and out than those 5 places. So if you, at the bare minimum, there's 5 signs that could be put strategically to, let people know that there certain roads are being closed. And of course, if it's something like Flower Street or off in the distance somewhere, perhaps a little bit closer to that, right? So I think that would be another effective way. I think it's important that people understand if their roads are going to be closed, that they really get it. There was a project recently at my house where the people that were doing the work actually put up signs that says, we are going to be closed. You cannot park here during these dates. And they put them out there weeks in advance. So we were prepared. And sure enough, when those dates came, they had crews out there. And so if I'm parked out there and they tow me, that's my bad.
Right.
Now, as it turned out, they still had to knock on some neighbors' doors, and they came out and they moved their cars, but everybody was amply notified.
Okay.
I don't have any input for changes. It's very thoroughly thought out and it seems effective in being able to notify. So I'm thrilled with that. Excellent work. The only question that I do have is under responsibilities, work director will oversee implementation of this protocol. It seems like a big job to,
Yeah,
Implementation.
it's as simple as having our engineer send me a email saying the protocol's done and it's been followed before we shut down a road. So yeah, there's more people that will be involved. I'm just going to oversee it.
even the implementation part of it. So when it's brand new, obviously things are bumpy for a little while
Yeah,
until people understand that whose responsibility it is to
yeah,
notify these various.
Yeah.
Who's responsible for the various avenues of notification.
yeah. So notification to the public is what we're discussing tonight. Once the Federal Highway Administration manual on uniform traffic control devices governs temporary traffic control setups, street closures, how many barricades, cones, that kind of thing, how long a lane shift has to be depending on the speed and width of the road and that kind of thing. And that also demands that the construction foreman for whatever company doing the work does a check at the beginning of his shift, at the end of his shift, and throughout the shift as staff moves back and forth. And our engineers and inspectors also do that. So those kinds of things are pretty easy to cover. There's already a protocol in place. This is just letting residents know when a road's going to be closed. But yeah, definitely a lot of players involved in that.
Yeah, there's, you have 5 major areas listed, notification methods and timing. So it certainly is something to establish who's responsible for those various styles of communication.
Yeah.
But I'm thrilled with the good work that you've done here.
Thank you.
I couldn't agree more. The fact that we're being thoughtful enough to consider, how can we best serve our people by letting them know
Yeah.
is, I've lived here for 30 some odd years, and I can tell you that as far as I know, this is the first conversation the city's ever had about something like that, as
Yeah.
far as I know.
Yeah.
I'm not to say, I don't
Yeah.
suggest that it hasn't happened, but there may have been discussions, but certainly nothing was ever implemented.
Yeah.
Implemented.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. We, like I said, my first Public Works Commission meeting, I mentioned that we were working on this and we wanted to bring it back to you. And so that's what we're doing. So some of the feedback I have from you is mail notifications, to add that as a method. We already do that, but I did miss it in this protocol. I will also add door to door, because one thing that we do, depending on the situation, is staff, or usually the contractor, we do require that they send their staff out door to door, knocking on doors, handing out door hangers and leaving them there for notifications. So there was a door hanger left at the, anyway. I've seen a lot of vehicles towed where I personally watched the staff set out door hangers in advance. But anyway, the goal is to get to where there's a towed vehicle is very, very rare. And also to get to where people have enough notification that, I mean, sometimes they might wake up in the morning and go, oh, dang it, I should have left a few minutes earlier. I forgot all about this, but at least they knew. But it is pretty bad when you get up and you leave and a road's closed that you need to use to get your kid to school, and you had no idea that closure was going to be there. So we just want to make some improvement in communication with the public. We're also in discussions to, we're actually going to have a city staff meeting about this. We're going to look at all of our communication platforms, whether it's the app that we're getting ready to implement, social media, websites, email. We're going to have a meeting and just look at all of them and find out where we're lacking and where we can add. We all attend conferences, so we have information on other applications that are out there that are very inexpensive that could be brought in very easily and used. One that I like is a text notification, because that's one thing that everybody has, is a phone in their pocket. So receiving a mass text notification would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and the technology's there, right? We see those for weather alerts, amber alerts.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah. And I also have the comment that Commissioner Choi mentioned, road signs, 7 days in advance, basically saying this road's going to be closed from this day to this day. So I've got that on my list as well.
Yeah, thank you for that, because I mean, we have high technology in here, but sometimes I'm seeing some old kind of aged personnel. They're not familiar with letter of alphabet English.
Yeah.
So those personnel, I mean, they're either living in themselves, and I mean, they might speak English, but they're illiterate. So
yeah,
I mean, it seems like everybody has one, but the problem could be the language. So if possible, I don't know, if we have to do it through this, new tech, then why don't we kind of add on some other additional languages, since we have many different language users in here. So Spanish, I think that's the most popular one here, and consider some other people's.
Okay.
And so that's why I like to put some things in the street.
Mm-hmm.
The traffic signage, well, people can easily see that, oh, something is going to happen. So they might ask their neighbor if they don't know how to read it.
Right.
So
okay.
In the meanwhile,
yeah, that is some great feedback, and that's why we're having this meeting, so that you guys can catch things that I missed. Appreciate that. All right. Okay, the last item here, commission input on citywide beautification projects. So this here is just a very informal discussion on, we had a couple of meetings this past week. One was to discuss potential uses for a grant, and one was to get community input on budget priorities. And at both meetings, one thing that came up from residents was just how the city of Marina has not focused a whole lot on beautification of the city. Um, the natural surroundings are beautiful already. They were before man came here. But things like our medians, our shoulders, where we have landscape areas on our shoulders. I have staff going around right now mowing weeds, but they're mowing weeds because no planned vegetation has been planted in the medians and in the landscape areas. So some of the beautification projects that we are thinking of, and this is going to be a years long effort. I read years ago, it stuck in my head, and I believe it strongly. The way you change a city is by relentless incremental improvements. So one thing after another, and even a small project is important. So those are the things that we're going to be looking at, and some of the because I'm not from this area, where I'm from, we look for because of water conservation, we look at plants that are low water use. We look at things that are low maintenance, and things that remove carbon from the air. So we try to find trees that remove that sequester carbon as much as possible. Here in Marina, since I've been here, there's a lot. There seems to be a huge, and maybe it's not huge. It's just the most vocal. There's a push here to use native plants as much as possible, which I love. I love that idea. The problem is that sometimes native plants look like weeds. So the other day I was out here on the phone, and I just happened to see this little area here at the corner where this bench is, and it's all native plants. And I looked at it, and there's a sign there that was placed there in memory of I forget the gentleman's name. And that is a beautiful little area. And I thought, okay, this could be this would work. This would work in a median. It would work in a roundabout. So yeah, those are the kinds of things. Other beautification ideas that we have is to restripe all of our major arterials, Del Monte Reservation, the pavement markings. Sometimes you don't even know if you're in a lane or not, especially if it's nighttime and it's raining. So restriping those, putting in bike lanes. We have quotes for new traffic signs on our traffic signal heads. So the signs up on the mast arms. We have quotes for beautiful blue colored street name signs with the City of Marina logo, and they would be on the pole instead of up on the mast arm. The reason for that is because when they're on the mast arm, the wind blows them and they break sooner. So they're LED, they're backlit. It's beautiful, beautiful looking signs. So those are the things that we have in mind for beautification projects. City facilities, those are on our list, especially aged buildings like our council chambers here in our city hall. But just wanted your feedback on types of landscape you'd like to see, what kind of more color or more native, big trees or just low shrubbery. Just any information, any feedback you have would be will be taken into account as plans are made.
So I was on this commission when we had before us the plans for the roundabouts on Imgen, and we discussed, the plants. Are they trees or are they bushes or are they a combination of trees and bushes? And if they are trees, what year or age of the tree do you put in? If we put in a big mature tree, do we give it a fair chance for the root system to uh, to grow? We also discussed things like, how do we decorate the roundabouts? Do we do a tribute to the beach and the ocean or the military and kind of our history, or a combination and so forth? So there should be some good notes from previous meetings just regarding that particular stretch, because we talked about them extensively. This is a long time coming, because when you drive into Marina, when you get off the freeway, sometimes you're coming in off Del Monte and Reservation, you're kind of like, "Hmm, you know, this doesn't look like, a very inviting place sometimes, a lot of weeds, and it's just not pretty." And so I think, a combination of certainly native plants, and some native plants are beautiful, and some of them really, bloom wonderful flowers in the spring. So you get that certain time of year where you can bring out some colors. And I think if we could do that along our major choke points or entry, and egress points, right? So Del Monte, maybe right around Imgen as you're coming in. Del Monte off Highway 1, Reservation off Highway 1, Del Monte off Highway 1, Imgen off of Highway 1. So people, when they drive through this town, uh, can, the message is, this place is taken care of. It's beautiful, versus, oh, look at that. Somebody needs to weed this section, and a lot of sections as you come in do look like they need weeding, right? And I think that's probably what people are responding to more than anything else. So this is a long time coming as well. Absolutely. And I think that I have no idea budget wise what we're looking at, but I just can't believe it's that much. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, with everything that's going on and some of the money that we're investing things into, that seems like it would, and who's not going to enjoy it? And with regards to, like, is it trees, bushes, or what have you? I think if putting there's a lot of things you can do. You mentioned it, right? The signs, the striping of the roads. But when it comes to plants, flowers, vegetation, I think you keep it low so there's no visibility obstruction, right? Like with roundabouts, sometimes you can grow things that you can't see what's happening on the other side of the roundabout. And I don't know if that's the safest thing or not. Probably not.
Anybody else?
So, I would prioritize, restriping and also focusing on reflective dots, or what, I
Yeah.
don't know what the flowers are called, but you get the idea.
Mhm.
They really make a big difference, especially in the rain and in the fog. And then, signage. I'm interested in the signs that you're referring to, because the existing signs on the major thoroughfares, when I moved here 15 years ago, they were not illuminated. And so I am first really bad with directions. So at nighttime, I'm like, well, I wish I knew what road this was. And I had mentioned 15 years ago, and still no difference. So, the signage street signs that you're mentioning for road signs, you said, is there LED illumination? Can you explain a little bit if they need to be maintained?
They would need to be maintained as much as any other sign. Once they're put up, there's not a whole lot to break down on them. They do have a decent warranty. If they go bad, we let the manufacturer know. They send us out a new one. We replace it. So there's no more warranty on them than our existing signs.
And the ones I'm talking about are the ones, with the clear background, and they should be illuminated, and they have not been
Correct.
illuminated for 15 years.
Yeah, that is correct.
So keep that in mind, is either have budget to maintain them.
Mhm.
Because for anybody that's not familiar with the area, certainly is an inconvenience.
Absolutely.
And then medians, what may seem like an odd question, if you make the plants too pretty, people take the plants.
I've seen that happen.
More than you would expect.
Yeah.
God darn it.
Yeah. I've seen that happen on projects that I worked on. Yes, that's correct.
Say, this looked beautiful a week
Yeah.
ago. Now we're back where we started.
Yeah. Right. Any other,
Yeah, we just talked about the street beautification. I totally agree with that because of first impression whenever, since we either walk, but we've been driving a lot. So that impression is going to be, make their mind about the city of Marina. How about the citizens of the, city of Marina? They usually try to go to parks. Recently, we've been built up, they call Hilltop Park.
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, I know some, but I don't know exactly who's doing that. It's so great. They try to put the poppies everywhere or something like yellow flowers.
Mhm.
It's beautiful and gorgeous. And not only that, they've been doing a really good job on right. I think they put some water duct, water pipes, little thing, all the way up to top that hill.
Yeah.
And kind of spray the water down. So keeping up the beautiful plants grow and stay there. So I like to see what we're doing for the existing parks.
Mhm.
I've been visited so far 3 of those, and I think we can do a little bit better than that. So some maintenance issue. The like one incident, when you see the ground, it's supposed to be covered by some sort of plants, but not. And some chairs and some monument stuff has been worn out. It seems like looks like nobody cares and stuff. But we took care, but some of them's not, I
Yeah.
believe. So I think we should have some sort of like periodic plan for the maintenance on the current parks we have. Just like you mentioned, that, director mentioned about, we have a little like place in front of our city community center here. And because it's important because we see there's some story there and some gentleman's memorandum or something. So each park should have some sort of story in it. That
Mhm.
it'll make it something special, and that makes us more kind of put our heart in. We can see many volunteers to build up that hilltop park. Actually, I put my hands on it too. Many citizens just, volunteer to come up here and try, mold it and set it up. And now they try to keep up and all that. And I seen it, even my mom, she's 87 years old. She just walk around and you see there's some, what do you call that, it's not a weed. The water, is it ice plant?
Ice plant.
Yeah, that one kind of killing all the other.
Yeah.
So my mom is pulling off that.
Yeah.
Guess what? Whenever I seen it, I'm pulling off, and I've seen some other guys doing the same thing. So they feel like their ownership on it.
Yeah.
And I think city can initiate on those effort.
Yeah.
And the people can just normally, try to maintain. So we should respect, and we should come up with some regular maintenance schedule. And I don't know how much, but whenever we put it, say, yeah, this is our cleanup day on this like park, and put some sign on, what day, like could be Saturdays, whatever, like how many hours we're gonna do, and tell them, come together, come here, help us to clean up. Then I bet you, and we're all gonna get together and
Yeah.
try to clean it up too. So I think we should consider that all the parks could be
Okay.
maintained.
So park beautification, those are
Right.
good projects. So Michelle, please add to the minutes that we will bring back a future item to this commission, a presentation of park improvement projects, recently completed, projects in progress, and upcoming projects. Which reminds me, commissioners, tomorrow at 4 PM at Gloria Jean Tate Park, we are having a groundbreaking ceremony for, I think this is phase 2 improvements to that park. So love to have you. It's going to be very, very quick. Photo op more than anything, because it's already all tore up. So, yeah, give you a shovel and get a picture taken.
I take my dog over there every day to run them and throw the balls and
Yeah.
a lot of all their dog owners. So we were pleasantly surprised to see that that's moving forward. Question and kind of the same thing with the other parks. Is there somewhere to go where we can get a visual of what's planned and what that's going to look like?
Yeah, so when we bring the presentation to you all, of all the park improvement projects, we'll bring in some visuals for you.
Okay.
There should be visuals on our, city website now.
All right.
Andrea Willer, our Parks and Cultural Services Department, Director. She's done a great job of putting together some visuals for that, some conceptual designs from, the consultants we're working with. Yeah, it's going to be really, really nice. We're doing we just completed some work at Preston Park on the ball fields. We have one more phase that we'll be doing this fall. The Dunes Park is going to be, you asked, Mayor Pro Tem Vischer earlier about, timing for that construction. It looks like construction will start, early 2026. And so the inclusive playground, we're hoping to start construction on that in April of 2026. Hopefully there's enough construction done for that. The Gloria Jean Tate project is getting ready to start, and there's one more phase after that. I forget what phase that is. We're doing a project at Windy Hill Park. We will be installing, well, first of all, on April 14th, they're going to remove and replace the existing playground equipment. So that'll be a 6-week project. So that'll be done about the end of May. And we will start design soon on building a restroom structure. Actually, it's a portable restroom structure that will be delivered, and we'll set it in place. And so the design is for all the underground and foundation work. Beautiful structure. Most cities are going this route instead of building something on site. Trying to think of other park projects. Sea Haven, that's still in the works. I think I've covered them all. The Dunes Park is 13.5 acres. It's going to have tennis courts, pickleball courts. There will be a ground level amphitheater. Nothing with a roof or anything over it. Some lookout areas because of the contours of it. It's when you see that, I think you'll be pleased by the conceptual design. I took one look at it. I said, okay, this is going to win some awards. It's just got beautiful amenities. It's going to be a really nice park. And that's the goal for all city parks, is to make some improvements to them all. But yeah, we'll bring that information to you so that you're updated.
It would be nice to have a list of all the parks that we have and kind of figure out what where they are and what the plans are for them. You know,
Sure.
where they are in terms of development, right? We're not doing anything with this park, but like with Windy Hill, this is what we're going to do. So great,
Sure.
thank you. Perfect. That's awesome.
So I'd like to circle back to signage, and I don't notice them as much as I should because I've been here for some time. However, some of the variety of different entrants when you enter the city, there's a number of different signs. They seem to have a lot of variety, and some appear to be quite older in style and not as Steve had mentioned, not that inviting. That could at least be something to be reviewed. You know what I mean, right? The entrance, the large signs that say "Welcome to Marina" type of a sign.
Yeah.
So that may be something, whether it fits within this or not, but
No, it absolutely does.
at least something to take an interest in and see if it warrants improvement.
Sure. We have a budget request in for signage. So, and that's definitely on the list. Even things like one-way signs, if they're old and faded, they need to be replaced and just so that they look nice. Street name signs in Marina are pretty good, but I had staff go up and down Del Monte because I just happened to be driving Del Monte and it seemed like everything on Del Monte was badly faded. Truck route signs and no parking signs and different things were just really badly faded. So those got replaced. And all those things are absolutely beautification ideas. So appreciate that feedback. We'll take a look at the City of Marina, the city limit signs is what you're talking about.
I have a further question. At the end of one of the previous meetings, you had mentioned a price of a new sign and it was astonishingly high number. I don't recall what the number was. If it was $20,000 or $40,000 for a new sign.
I'm not sure what sign I would have been talking about. A sign, a stop sign is about $150. The signs, the illuminated signs that I'm talking about putting on our traffic signalized intersections, those are $3,000 or $4,000 each, including installation.
Maybe I misheard. It was one of the earlier meetings when one of the public folks had made some comments and had requested a sign and you had mentioned the cost of a sign and I don't recall. I just remember. it
Oh,
being a fantastic
I
number.
do remember that sign. We were talking about the speed radar sign. So it says the speed limit.
Oh, okay.
And as you're driving up, if it tells you what your speed is and has the speed limit sign there, those are about $20,000 for a pair.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. It was just alarming.
Yeah.
I thought all these little stop signs.
Yeah.
were-
Yeah, no,
I
a stop
started making
sign,
them
yeah,
myself.
a stop sign is about 100 to 150, depending on how many you buy. The more you buy, the less the unit prices are. When I started, I remember a stop sign being about $30 or $40. So they haven't gone up too much in relation to all the other metal that we've seen just since COVID. All right, that's the last item that we have.
I think that's it then. No commissioner and staff informational reports, no correspondence. So if does anybody have any comments, commissioners? Anybody on the floor? Anybody taking notes? Anybody care about the Laker Warrior game tonight? All right, well, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you all.